Well, good evening. The wise old redneck guru has decided to come down to the peaceful creek here at Wilderness Calls and have a chat with y'all today. This is where I come quite often to meditate. And I actually got a vision of the double D gravity deer feeder while I was meditating down here. Where some folks say I come down here to take a nap, which that wouldn't be a bad idea at times. But today I come down here and was going to talk about nothing. But I was instructed by someone I couldn't talk about politics, so we can't talk about nothing. But today I thought we'd talk about, give you my philosophy on the Survivor series shows on television. People watching, it's kind of like a reality show where they take a couple of dudes or more than a girl, or two guys, take a couple of folks out and dump them in the woods somewhere in the wilderness and follow them around for several days till they either holler uncle or they survive. And one that stays out there the longest before they holler uncle or eats a bad berry or something, they win the prize. I've always wondered, why didn't let the old rednecks, hillbillies, or country folks do this game. Always somebody from the city, they've been training for months and months and months to go out and survive in the wilderness. But I guess that's because the old country boy redneck and a country man, he'd already know how. He'd live in the wilderness, out in the woods and stuff, so surviving out there wouldn't be no big deal. He'd win the game hands down, so they don't let them play in that game. But I always thought that a true survivor game would be where they took the folks out there, dumped them off in the wilderness, come back 30 days later, and if they were there, they survived. Of course, it wouldn't be much of a show because you only had 2 episodes. But they still probably wouldn't let the poor old redneck play because he'd find a way to town, probably gain 20, 30 pounds that month, waiting on him to come back and pick him up and take him home. But then the top of the list would be the one they call Survivor, where they take a whole bunch of folks and they drop them out on an island. And they divide up into teams or squads, or they call themselves tribes. Tribe A and Tribe B, or whatever they want to name themselves. They compete in little games against each other all week, and then at the end of the week, they have a big conference over the campfire, and they kick one off the island every week. Well, it didn't take the guru but one episode to figure out that it had nothing to do with surviving. All it had to do was who was the least liked person on that island that week. But that's who got kicked off the island. They would kick off the least liked person each week. So, but there was one game they played while the guru was watching it. He found was very interesting. And they were climbing this little hill thing there, and both teams was climbing up at the same time. And I guess that's why they don't let them rednecks play that game, because the redneck would have been playing that game. He'd have been elbowing that there other team guy coming up beside him, knocking him down at the bottom of that hill. But he'd be surviving, because that's the name of the game, to survive. Well, he'd be surviving, so they may have rules where you can't do that. I don't know. It might be just who the fastest one to climb the hill is wins the game. But anyway, the most ridiculous Survivor series that I seen was Naked and Afraid. I have been sitting here meditated several times, find out how being naked in the woods makes it harder to survive. You just don't have no clothes on. But they'll follow these here naked folks around in the woods, and if something happens to them, they eat a bad berry or something, they whoop them up into a helicopter and fly them into town. So they really, you're not going to die. But they still don't let no country folks or rednecks play in that game, because there again, not having clothes on wouldn't have bothered him either, because in the summertime they don't have a whole lot of clothes on anyway. But I guess that's about the end of my philosophy on the Survivor games. I'm glad people enjoy them. But tune in next week or so, and the guru, he'll talk about something else and share his philosophy with you. Thank you.